Okay, for this fly, we are going to tie a red V-rib midge. Sometimes people call it a red vinyl rib midge. And this is a really easy fly to tie, but it's extremely effective at the right times. A lot of times in the winter when the fish are primarily feeding on midges in either tailwaters or even freestone waters. So we've got a size 16 curved hook, and what we're going to use is we're going to use red thread. So my first step is going to be to get the red thread onto this hook. Get that red thread on there, and I'm going to wrap it on the entire body of the fly because the material that we use is somewhat translucent, and I like to have a red base on the bottom. So now I like to wrap this as you kind of down the edge of the curve. If you notice, I went quite a ways down. On a lot of flies you won't do that, but on this one I like to do that. I think with the final product of the fly, it has a little bit of a curve in it, and I think that looks nicer. Okay, the next thing we're going to use is, this is called vinyl ribbing, and it's relatively small. You'll notice it's really glossy, and if you could, and there's no way that I could zoom in on the cross-section end of this, but if you look at the end of that vinyl rib, one side is flat, one side is round. So what we're going to do is we're going to tie this vinyl rib in right here. We're going to make sure that when we wrap it around the hook here, that the round part is out. So it'll give the fly an appearance of having ribbing, versus if you tie it with the flat side out, it doesn't have a very good ribbed look to it. So what I like to do is I like to cut my little strip of vinyl ribbing. I lay it on the hook, and I like to just get it tied on there. So I get it tied on right there where I clear to the back there. And then I wrap all the way forward with the vinyl ribbing on the fly. Now I could have snipped it back there in the back, but what this does is now it gives it the same size body throughout the entire hook versus a big lump in the back if I was to clip it. So I like to do that. Okay, now that my I see I've got a little bit of thread back there I need to snip. Gotta get that. There we go. Now that the vinyl ribbing is on there, I'm going to take it, and what I noticed was, I noticed the side that was round, and that's the side that I want to have out. So I'm going to start wrapping, and what you can do is you can kind of see as you wrap if the ribs appear to be a little bubbled, which is what you want. And it looks like I'm getting that, so that means that I've got the correct side is facing out, giving this a very ribbed appearance all the way up to the head end of the fly. Okay, once I get up here to the front, I'm just going to tie this vinyl ribbing off. The nice thing about this vinyl ribbing too is it's somewhat rubbery, so it ties off nice and tight. You know, sometimes you worry about the material being too rigid, but this stuff is really great to work with. So there we go, got it tied off, and that is a vinyl rib, a V-rib midge, red V-rib midge. So now I'm going to whip finish it. Some people like to put a little white head on the top. Somehow they'll use white dubbing. They'll use a number of different things for a little bit of white, sometimes foam, but I generally don't do that for this fly. If I'm going to do that, I'll use a Palomino midge, but that is the red V-rib midge. Looks like we got nice little ribs you can see in there. Great looking fly, and very effective.